It's another episode of Labor Lens where we bring to you updated information in the world of work and pay. I am Sharon Ijason. On this episode of the program, we will be focusing on some health workers of the Federal Medical Center in Oweeri. They accuse the hospital management of victimization. We will be right back.
It started as a peaceful protest by the NLC to register its displeasure with attempts by the Labour Minister to replace Kokori as the chairman of the NSITF board. Early Wednesday morning, Labour mobilized its members and trucks to block the gates of the minister's residence in their Sokoro area of Abuja. But stern-looking youths soon invaded the streets and a free-for-all ensued. By the time the dust settled, the roads were littered with vandalized vehicles, stones, leaves and planks. Some of those caught in the melee were injured and rushed to the hospital. Others alleged they were dispossessed of their phones, money and other valuables.
We didn't go there with any weapon, neither are we trying to fight anybody. We're just there peacefully. But along the line, we saw some group of people coming. And I thought they were joking. So, because we didn't mean to destroy, fight anybody. I sat down. Everyone was telling people, say, don't run, don't run. We are not fighting. We are not killing anybody. Before you know it, they started hitting us with stone, with wood, with sticks, whatever they reaches their hand. They were hitting us.
I said no.
The leadership of the NLC describes the incident as unfortunate.
Not only barbaric, it is never expected in a democratic system. Live bullets have been used on our people.
Highest public office holder that is expected to protect and defend the labor law in the country is violating the labor laws. It's very, very unfortunate.
Rising from an emergency meeting, NLC says it will embark on a protest in Abuja on Monday to kick against the violence meted on its members.
The CWC resolved to embark on a national protest on Monday, May 13, 2019 in Abuja against the brutalization of its members by Ngege and his thugs, and has accordingly directed all its members and civil society alike to commence immediate mobilization.
NLC wants a commission of inquiry into the operations of the NSITF under the current Labour and Employment Minister. The minister, through its media aide, issued a statement threatening to drag NLC and its president to court if it does not get a written apology in 7 days for the invasion of his residence. The minister, during an interview with newsmen, insists the workers do not have the right to besiege his house in the guise of a protest. Mr. Ngige describes the workers' action as an act of hooliganism.
Picketing does not mean you go to people's home. A tanker with petrol is arson. The place can be caught on fire. That is not trade unionism. It is hooliganism.
I led NUPEN with those tankers to that protest. And I can tell you too that we in NUPEN we are very conscious of safety. Even when we picket, we don't throw safety to the wind. And there's no way we would have taken tankers that were loaded with product to that place. Of course, even the Honorable Commissioner Minister is aware, because I know they also checked those tankers. There were no product in there, and there's no way NUPEN will use any tanker loaded with products, for any picketing. We don't do that.
There is victory for all. Victory. There is victory for us. In the struggle for our union, there is victory for us.
It all began in 2015 when the relationship between the management of Federal Medical Center Oweeri and union members took an ugly dimension amidst allegations of victimization, high-handedness, and financial misappropriation. A few years down the line, those affected say not so much has changed.
Actually, the workers in FMC Oweeri, we've been in this struggle since 15th May 2015. And the struggle lingered up to October 2016. The background of the struggle was that we were fighting against corruption and act of impunity that had been, in existence with then management headed by Dr. Mrs. Angela Owakwem.
As I speak to you, there are two camps in the hospital. You are either pro-management or anti-management, and that is what the management has institutionalized. As we speak, in fact, it has got to an extent wherein if you do social events or whatsoever you are doing or you are applying for in the hospital, you need to belong to either the management camp to have it approved or it is not approved.
I recently took a trip to Owerri, the Imo State capital, where I met with Uche Uchegbu, a physically challenged staff of the Federal Medical Center, who shared his story with me on a career that spans more than 2 decades. He says the lingering issues in the institution, especially with regards to what some see as indiscriminate posting of union members to outreach stations due to alleged victimization, have left him increasingly dissatisfied and frustrated.
7th of January this year, I was called on phone because I was on sick off, that I have been posted out and I should be doing my practice at an outreach center at Mbise, about an hour plus drive to that place, or 1.5 hours on public transport. I tried to find out the reasons. I wasn't given audience. And so as a civil servant, I took my letter of posting and I went to the place and found out that as far as my profession is concerned, nothing is happening there.
Do you think that you're being victimized by the Federal Medical Center in Owerri?
Yes, in all sense of honesty, that's what I take it as. Apart from this posting out, honestly speaking, apart from this posting out, immediately we came back from the strike, or demonstration strike. The first bout of victimization I had was that a promotion I've enjoyed for 2 years. A promotion I've enjoyed for 2 years was all of a sudden removed.
He is not the only one who seems to be affected by this alleged victimization. For being associated with the Health Workers Union at the Federal Medical Center, I had a chat with other affected workers who were posted out of Owerri. At the outreach center, I became really curious as I observed that no medical activity was ongoing and the place looked like it had been abandoned for a while now. My respondents argued that being posted to this community looks like an attempt by the health authorities to make them redundant.
Imagine a situation where somebody, a high senior officer, head of department, being posted out to an outreach center where nothing, absolutely nothing is going on. If you look at the place, it's just like a cemetery. And no single medical laboratory service is going on. So it's more or less punitive posting.
When a unit is not functioning, other units will not be able to function. So for my case in Omunama Outreach Center, there are no dental surgeons posted there, no dental technologists, no dental therapists, only a dental surgery technician clinical. And our work is mainly in the surgeries and in the theaters. So where there are no dental surgeons, no technologists, no therapists, no work can be able to be carried on in that area.
Workers also highlight other issues begging for urgent attention.
There's also this case of another staff in dental department whose superior took money from a patient, and that patient happens to have been a patient that was planted by management to spite some staff. At the end of the day, both the superior and his junior were found culpable by the committee set up. They served the necessary punishment, which was 3 months suspension, only for the subordinate to eventually be sent out of the service, while the superior continues to remain in service, enjoying every single patronage simply because she belongs to the management camp.
The 2015 promotion was not conducted in 2016 while we were still agitating. So our members were not really, they didn't go for the promotion. That's the part of us that we are agitating. So in 2017 there was promotion, and what we expected was that those ones that were left out in 2016 that were due in 2015, they would have been promoted and the promotion would have been harmonized. Then another point is because of the agitation, we have lost 4 months salary. The 4 months salary we are seized since 2015 to 2017 February. So now in all, FMC Oweeri had lost 5.5 months salary. That's including the 1.5 months salary that the nationwide JOSU is suffering.
All efforts to reach Dr. Kingsley Achigwu, Chief Medical Director FMC Oweeri, to get his side of the story proved abortive, as at the time of filing this report, even as union members like Uche Uchegbu promised to continue with pressing home their demands.
For the past 24 years, about that, I have been in service. I've been with so many medical directors, and no issue of this type has come up. I don't know why it is now. I'm near my peak that this thing will happen. And the best thing to do is either management begins to act aright and sees things from the human point of view, managerially.
As the thing is increasing on daily basis, we have written to the management before, trying to tell them that what they are doing is not supposed to be, and that we are not going to take it as the thing continue increasing. By the time we write the next letter and they will not, if they don't reply, they don't do anything, we might decide to protest or shut down the center.
For the affected workers at FMC Oweeri, they hope that the federal government and relevant authorities will take a second look on the matters arising and bring on a lasting solution. On the Profile interview segment this week, I spoke with the president of Medical and Health Workers Union, who also doubles up as the president of JOSU. He tells me he wants the federal government to intervene on the plight of some medical health workers in FMC Oweeri. He also tells me his expectations in the healthcare sector. Take a listen. It's good to have you on the program.
It's a pleasure to have you again.
Now, a lot has happened in the sector in the last 4 years. I would like you to share your experience and in summary tell us what you've been able to achieve and what some of your challenges or the struggle that you're still fighting for are.
Well, talking about experience is a lot, negative, positive, lots. We're talking about achievements and challenges. Just like I said, negative, positive, they also build into the fray of the experience that I will share. If you ask me to share a specific experience, I would want to say the most harrowing experience that I've seen in the last 4 years is the high level of insincerity, the high level of dishonesty of the Federal Ministry of Health, coupled with the high interest in promoting corruption by the Federal Ministry of Health. That is what I can tell you. Whereas, another area I can tell you about is, whereas the Federal Ministry of Health is fixed on creating a turbulent environment in the health system without minding the negative impact on the Nigerian people, knowing fully well that it is only the public health institutions that can give affordable health to the Nigerian poor people. They do not mind the consequences, but all they want is deliberately starve institutions, the health institutions, necessary funds, promote corruption by punishing people who blow the whistles, patriotic health workers, patriotic Nigerians, patriotic members of my own organization that wants to help the government fight corruption in the health system. They suppress them, they punish them. And I think these are the things I would say are things that I've experienced. If you talk about positivity, maybe it should be safe for me to say none, because nothing has been given to us willingly. When you see a situation where people in the same industry, there are some professionals who make, the medical practitioners who make just less than 5% overall. Talking about less than 5% overall is at the federal level, state level, and local level. They make less than 5% of the healthcare deliverers. But they get everything, whether legitimate or illegitimate. They get it. The deceit and lies to Nigerians is one of the big things that I experienced over these 4 years from the Federal Ministry of Health. And I just hope that the abnormality, which is appointing people of one profession in a multi-dimensional industry to man the top ruling class of that ministry, that all-important ministry, I think is an experience I wouldn't want to see in the next 4 years. And I pray Mr. President will correct himself by not doing that.
What's the union doing to address the issue of the workers who are being victimized at FMC Oweeri?
Well, thank you so much for bringing this Oweeri issue, you see. That's a problem sometimes I have with supporting government to fight. These patriotic Oweeri lads, who were members of JOESU, were helping governments to fight corruption. Because, you know, corruption is one of the great things that is setting improvement of health services backwards. And so these people realized, and when a government has come to say, look, I want to fight corruption, they volunteered to help the government fight corruption. And they blew whistle, genuine whistle for that matter, which the EFCC's investigation also corroborated. For instance, one of the projects they said has been completed, certificate issued, and payment made. When the whistle was blown and the ministry set up the committee, where we as Labour were part of, when we went down to Oweeri, the land was fallow. Not even a strand of grass has been taken off that land. But it has been paid. What more do you need from we, the health workers, as patriotic health workers, to support in clearing corruption from the Ministry of Health, the Federal Ministry of Health that promotes health, that covers up health? What more do you need from us? We did that. Our people did that. Patriotically, they did that. And the reward was demotion, denial of promotion, and denial of salaries for months. In fact, the Federal Ministry of Health sent one of their super specialist crisis makers, sent the head of hospital services, presently is the head of hospital services, sent him to Oweeri. And you know what he did? He went to the workers. Workers, well, you are patriotic, I know. But for those who say they want to be patriotic, they want to fight corruption, so they want to continue to blow whistle, stay this way. Your reward is going to be that you lose your salaries, you lose your promotions, and you lose your positions if you are heads of units and all that. Those who want to stay with the MD pass this way, and a few passed. And true to type, when they now instituted a promotion exercise, knowing fully well that the workers were on strike because the government, the Federal Ministry of Health, tried to return a person who paid millions of naira for an unexecuted job. And they wanted to return that person because after they blew the whistle, the FCC went and then also saw more infractions of inflation of jobs or purchases. 300,000 things bought with 300,000 inflated to 3 million, 3 million to 33 million, and so on. So with the EFCC confirming this, these workers would have been positively rewarded. But the reward is they are still languishing, no salaries. And I'm using this opportunity to call on government. The second coming of Mr. President should be a correction project. And if he would want to encourage us as health workers to support his fight against corruption and clean the health system so that Nigerians will get better health, so that if 100,000 is set out to buy equipment or tools to deliver health to Nigerians, let it be used appropriately. If that is what the government wants, then these ills, even in youth, these ills should be addressed. And again, the fairness that we've been talking about, the equity that we've been talking about, if I was earning 20 naira and somebody was earning 60 naira, if you find it necessary, plausible, even against professional advice of the Incomes and Wages Commission, to increase that person's salary to 90 naira, and that I am now asking, okay, since you've increased that person's salary to 90 naira by 30,000, please increase mine too by that percentage. Is that equality? Is that equality? That is equity. When you were earning 60 naira, I was earning 20 naira. There's a difference of 40 naira. You've gone to 90 naira. Give me 50 naira. Maintain that 40 naira difference. Is that equality? So I don't know why they have developed the penchant for misinforming Nigerians. So that's why adjustment of the coins is a key tool to enshrine harmony and peace in the health system. And I'm calling on the president. In fact, it's unsolicited advice. I'm not charging him for this advice. I'm not asking him to pay me allowances or salaries as SSA or SA on health and peace. But I'm giving it to him. If he does that, surely he will be making the health system move forward. It shouldn't depend on those who represent just less than 5% to say, oh, if you do this, I'll do that. And then because, so the appointment is key. That's why, like I started, the appointment, fair appointment of the management cadre is important. and to resist the temptation of appointing a medical doctor as a minister of labor is also very important. When a neutral person is there, there's more peace in the health system, and there's more peace in the industrial system. Late Ocheoli is a living example of that. The Honorable Minister of State Health then, late Barrister Ocheoli, came into this matter, and within months, he was almost resolving it before the cold hands of death took him away. And since then, we have reversed 33 kilometers backwards. We are just about 200 meters to the end, but we have reversed 33 kilometers backwards. And I want, Mr. President, before they begin to blackmail us as troublemakers, strike mongers, the truth should be heard from us. And let the truth set us free.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember, labor creates wealth.